I will mention something interesting. So during my undergrad university, I went to school in DC. And I did join a sorority. Okay. So I was part of that life. But then I was coming from Dubai at the time because I went to high school in Dubai. So I still had that sense of I'm an international kid. But then I remember my American self from high school and younger years growing up in the States.
Yeah.
So I was with the sorority and loving that American life and, like your typical, what you would imagine it to be like. But then also like seeing my international friends after that or on the weekend and like balancing that. And that's when I had a huge crisis where I'm like, who am I? Am I like the all-American or am I actually the international crew? Like, what is going on here, So at one point I accepted that, listen, I guess I'm going to try to say I'm lucky to have both sides that can fit in with both groups, but I won't lie. Of course, sometimes I felt like I didn't really have my core niche because I was always with different groups. I was not, you know what I mean? Like I was trying to be that social butterfly, but it can be lonely sometimes.
It can be, and this is what we call code switching. It's because you are scanning and that's what we get good at as, we can call it third culture kids. It includes multiple experiences. It could be your mom is from one country, your dad is from one country, you have the same experience. You could be child of an immigrant, or you can be an expat somewhere else. So it could be multiple experiences that can lead to the same internal sense of, I can fit in everywhere, but I don't belong anywhere. So this is what we're talking about.
That duality is the confusing part.
Yes, and we can get to this point from different roads, I have to say. It's not just one way to get this way. So let's say if you're just American, you grew up here, but you moved because of your job also a lot. Some military brats also struggle with this. So if you lived in other countries for extended periods of time, this is what you're gonna deal with. Or if you have parents from a different culture, you would deal with this too. So yes, we do code switching to serve as a survival mechanism. So we're always, as third culture or children of immigrants, we're always going in and scanning. And that scanning is really exhausting because you're scanning and you're like, okay, what do I have to do right now? What are the rules and how do I need to talk and what do I need to do? So that can be very, very exhausting, and it can become from a hypervigilant place of like, you learned at a young age that this is what I need to do to survive. So
yes, and just fit in. But as a teenager, that is survival. Like that is whole life.
That's everything. That's everything. Yes.
And it's funny, like even now when I visit US versus when I'm living in Dubai, for example, they're both home for me in different ways. But I find my humor is different in both places, my jokes, my way of dress. Like I just go back to what's natural for me in that place.
Yes.
Different ecosystems. But I would say that's adaptability, but it also does feel like survival. It's subconscious, but I feel like if I don't adapt, I don't mix in some Arabic in Dubai with my Arab friends or, like I will be that like sore thumb sticking out. Like she's so American, So I do get that a lot and I kind of embrace it and joke around about it because I'm proud of it. But at the same time, I know that, okay, like we're a minority there. So let me just act what's comfortable. I'm not going to fake myself, but I need to just be what's comfortable. Like my Arabic will come out, of course, much more often there. Yeah. But here, like when I'm in US, I'm just like, yo, dude, like, what are we, I just go with that. It's just really who you're around. I'm so easily kind of reactive to my surrounding,
Yes. I have to say this can be a strength because you do so well. We're very intuitive. When we walk into a place, we can read the room and we can kind of know. So I just think all this work is about bringing it to your conscious, and you do it on your own terms. But when it's subconscious and you're just scanning all the time and you don't know why you're doing it, it can be very exhausting. But if you know when and why, and hopefully we don't have to do it much. So listen, I grew up in the Middle East, but I have to say I don't really get along with, especially at my age group, like with a typical just Arab Middle Eastern woman who is very traditional. I can't. So sometimes when I'm invited, I go and I do read the room and code switch and all that. But I do try to minimize these interactions for me just because they can feel exhausting. So it's not about shunning one part. It's just about knowing, okay, what works for me, what doesn't work for me, where do I have to do less code switching?
I love this term code switching because it kind of, it sounds technical, but it's understandable. Basically, from what I understand, tell me if I'm wrong. It's like when you're in an environment, you code switch, whether consciously or subconsciously, to relate to that environment, right? So you try to speak their language almost. Is that
Yeah. I mean, every group you walk into, in every group or gathering, there's a group dynamic and a code that is unspoken, but you kind of know. Like, these people, we talk about this. These people, we talk about that. This is how we dress. This is how we behave. So these are all there, but it's just because we have different parts, we're more aware of them. The person that doesn't have different parts, which I mean different cultural parts, doesn't have to code switch because it's only one part and that's it. This is all they have to give. But for us, because we have a layered identity, which is so interesting, so we have different parts here. So we get to choose which one.